What's going on, everybody? It's Afro Think Tank. So a black gentleman is saying that white European Americans are in trouble, specifically men. The demographic of white men, seemingly, as of late, white male European men in America and various other places around the world have not been putting forth their best foot. And because they have not putting their best foot forward, their, I guess you would say, better half, their white women are exploring other options actively, right? And so outside of the genetic issues, outside of the reduction in the production of sperm, outside of population decline, outside of all that, right? You have, in the fentanyl, you got the thing that you guys are most afraid of is that multiculturalism, right? And your women being allowed to do what they want to do. And it seems like you guys don't really want them to do what they want to do, which causes a problem because in modern day societies, women should be allowed to do what they want to do. We're supposed to be leaving the age of where one group of people subjugate another group of people. So, as they seek their liberation from you guys and they explore all their options, that causes an issue for European males. And European males not the only one who have that issue. Indian males have kind of a similar issue. Asian men seem to have a similar issue, right? And they all got their different reasons. Usually it's toxic masculinity, insecurities, cultural oppression of women, whatnot. All those women are choosing a different route. Someone who can produce masculinity, power, right? But at the same time, be gentle and nice and all that stuff, right? And, and I understand where a lot of the racism comes from is envy because, like I said, man, I'll say all the time, LeBron James stepped up in the party. Anybody who was anybody in the party before he stepped up in there is nobody. And of course, that creates animosity for those who are not secure themselves and who measure themselves up to other people. You know what I'm saying? So, you could just go ahead and scale that. And that's what we have here. But anyway, I'm gonna let this guy and a few other people talk, and you'll see, man, there's gonna have to be a serious attitude or swag change, something, because you guys are headed down a road at which there's no turning around. You get what I'm saying? Anyway, you guys tell me what you think in the comment sections. Afro Think Tank, learn some, teach something. I'm out.
Ooh, y'all white guys are in trouble. Let me tell y'all something. So let me tell y'all what I mean by that. So last night, as some of you are aware, I celebrated my birthday. It was great, real cool. By the way, if you guys are ever in the area, I highly recommend HMD Bar and Grill in Chicago Ridge, Illinois. It was a great time. Anyway, we basically had our own little VIP room. And in this room, over the course of the night, I'm looking around, and it basically looks like my own personal timeline of my life, if you will. I see friends from high school, friends from college, friends from grad school, friends from the scholarship program I was a part of. You guys get it. Friends from my doctoral years. Yeah, you understand. Anyway, so as I'm looking, I realize that the only guys that are there, both friends and family, are black. Now, all of the guys being black wasn't by design at all. As a matter of fact, if you guys knew me, you would know that I've always had a very diverse group of friends. However, in the last 3 or 4 years or so, probably since 2021, the number of white friends in my life has dropped significantly, especially after I graduated with my doctorate in 2022. Now then, Pale Princess, this is the part of the video that you're not going to like at all, but you probably should pay attention to it. The women at this party were mostly white and some Hispanic. All right, stop, freeze. I know a bunch of y'all about to get in your feelings in the comments and be like, well, why weren't there any black girls there? You black. They were invited. A lot of people got sick over this weekend because of the weather change in Chicago. Not sure if you are aware, but it went from 60 to 20. Chill the fuck out. It wasn't because they weren't invited. And I don't know about y'all, but I've noticed a lot of that dynamic, actually, especially in the last 6 to 8 months. Once people realized that orange douchebag didn't give a fuck about them. But in noticing that he doesn't give a shit about them, they've also noticed that you guys don't give a shit about them either. And these women that notice that are the same women that you guys need to ensure the continued existence of your so-called superior race. Am I right? And wasn't there just an article that talked about how minority births now outnumber white births here? And the thing is, all empires fall. Everything is temporary in this world. But to try to prevent that white birth number from dwindling even more and possibly facing extinction, you guys choose to speed run, ruining everybody's lives, including the women that you need to make more of you. But the real truth is, the only thing you guys are speed running is you guys butterfly affecting yourselves out of existence. You interfere with the natural course of events to try to prevent something, and then it happens faster. Congratulations, Pale Princess. You've really done it this time.
Oh, I do think that white people are absolutely jealous of black people, specifically with the community, and also with like fashion and music and everything else that is appropriated. But by design of what whiteness is, it inherently lacks community. And I think we're absolutely jealous of that. And I've heard biracial people say that they do see that difference in their own families. Because in addition to European cultures being more individualistic than cultures from Africa, South America, and indigenous North American cultures, the invention of whiteness in America erased a lot of ties to actual culture. So when I say like white people, black community, I'm not talking about like Polish people or German people or Irish people. As I explain in my book, I just wrote the intro and I'm working on the conclusion today. Y'all keep me in your prayers. In the course of human history, white is a relatively new term. As we discussed in the introduction to this book, white is a North American term emerging from the 1600s as a term to justify the enslavement of Africans and squelch revolts from poor Europeans and indentured servants. Before this term, Europeans would identify with their nationalities. The Irish, Italians, Germans, French are all very different cultures. Thus, there is not the same communal tie to whiteness as there is for people from other communities. Further, since white was created to be a divider, a separator, it is not a happy identity. It is not something people want to admit they relate to. It doesn't have a rich, healthy history. Speaking as a white American who has conducted national level research on white Americans, we tend to say things like we have German, Irish, Italian, etc. ancestry, even if we have never been to those places. This is because all white Americans have ties to immigration, and because these identities are actual cultures, they do not have roots only in oppression. Now, we know who started colonization, right? So this is the book I'm trying to finish by Monday and send to the editor. There's a free chapter in my bio if you're interested on one of the unwritten rules of work. The book is predominantly about class, but I talk about 3 other identities that you can't talk about class without talking about these other identities, and race is absolutely one of them.
This is what a MAGA mind is.
Brand spanking new Lexus SUV. How is that possible? Integrate into the same neighborhood that I worked my entire life to get into. I don't understand it.
Here's this guy right here in his brand new Lexus.
There he is, right there.
Right there. That guy right
It's what Make America Great Again has always meant to certain people. It's never been about patriotism. It's always been about hierarchy, about making sure black people stay in a place that makes them comfortable. Because let's be honest, imagine living in a country where 400 years you receive every privilege available. Free labor for almost 2 centuries, millions of acres of free land through the Homestead Act, government assistance when black folks were excluded, white veterans received GI Bills as 10th in college when black veterans who served the country faithfully did not, white home ownership through FHA loans that black people didn't get while black families were redlined into poverty. There was affirmative action for white folks long before the phrase was ever even created. Let me name a few more. Tax benefits, union protections, government contracts, Social Security programs that originally excluded black labor, corporate subsidies, banking systems built on predatory denial of black access, policing designed to guard white prosperity, and the unspoken privilege of always being seen and deserving, and all that for generations. And yet here we are, after everything designed to hold us back, we still here. It makes them a failure. We're still educating ourselves, still building businesses. It makes them a failure. Still growing wealth, still buying homes, still pulling up in our Lexuses. That makes them a failure. We still thrive in the ways this country has never planned for us to thrive. And it makes them feel like failures. Because that's what they are. That's why it bothers them. Because to them, our success is what it is. it makes them failures. They feel better when they can look down on us. They feel safer when we have to struggle. They feel whole when we are broken. So when they say make America great again, what they are really saying is let's go back and reset the hierarchy. Let's put them back in their place, which is beneath us. Let's strip away any progress that they've made. Let's take away all their rights, all their opportunities, all the wins that make them feel equal. Because for us to feel equal, it makes them feel like failures. Because they've had every advancement known to man, and yet here we are. And that's why our excellence is so powerful, y'all. Because every time we disrupt the narrative they depended on for 400 years, every time we win and we break the system that was never designed for us to succeed, every time we shine, we expose the weakness of a structure built on stolen labor, stolen land, and stolen wealth. It's their failure. This is why our success is revolutionary. It's not just about your car, your house, or your lifestyle. It's a reminder that despite every barrier placed in our way, we still here, thriving, winning, and redefining greatness in our terms. And they're still what they are. Failures. Now drop a black.
Was the question, why do white people hate black people so much? I have been in situations where I've been surrounded by nothing but white people. And this conversation has come up. The race conversation has come up. And no one ever has an actual reason as to why they hate black people. There's always these, oh, black on black crime. Oh, they're lazy. Oh, they're this. But it's not actually, there's no legitimacy behind their reasoning. It's just shit that they've heard and they're regurgitating. And so, long story short, it really comes down to there is no reason. It's a deep-seated jealousy, a deep-seated hate that, you know, black people exude greatness. Black people are the great inventors. Black people are the beginning of the human race, the Eve gene. And white people have worked so hard to erase the history and erase the greatness of the black race. Down to even when things are invented, the majority of things that are invented were invented by a black person. But yet the white race has actually erased the original inventor from history and have put their names on things that they had no business putting their names on.
I found why white men don't like us.
There's only ugly guys, so what can you do?
There are ugly dudes everywhere?
I would say, honestly, I've seen a couple guys that were cute, but the one had a girlfriend, it looked like.
Yeah.
So
One, what's your go-to type of guy? What are you looking for?
hopefully black.
Very muscly.
Be above 6 foot, be dark skinned.
Girls are some like BBC lovers, right?
I mean, I guess.
All the dudes are ugly, and then she says she's into black dudes. Black dudes are the ugliest dudes. No offense. For black people on this one, you can have her, I guess. Go make some science experiment babies with these retarded white women.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, we don't want her. You can keep her, in fact. I must say, don't get mad at us, because your women see how crazy y'all are. See the statistics y'all uphold with children, women, rape, all those things. And then they try to choose a man who's kind. Don't get mad at black people, black men specifically. Just understand your role. Maybe be kinder, and maybe they'll want to actually have your babies. But black men, we don't really want your women. So, you know, don't make this the reason why you start to kirk out. No pun intended.
This is a public service announcement for all my white friends. If you've never been to a cookout at a black person's house, go. Make you some black friends and go. Y'all, I had no idea what I was in for. Keep in mind, this is no shade at all. This is all love and respect and love for you. But we pulled up and I hear rap music just bumping in the backyard. I was like, oh my gosh. So then we get inside. I think we're the only white family there, and that was cool. So we get there and we go to the back patio, and immediately are served shots of Hennessy. I thought this was just a stereotype. This is for real. Everybody's just having a great old time back there. taking shots of Hennessy, listening to rap music, like cooking on the grill. We had bratwurst, we had hamburgers, we had hot dogs, we had potato salad. I mean, the works. And it was good, y'all. It was real good. Then, out of nowhere, a freaking tortoise, like a legit tortoise, comes crawling out from underneath the table. It was like their pet and it lived on their patio. Then, like 10 minutes later, one of their kids comes out with a bearded dragon this big. We got people dancing, eating, taking shots of Hennessy with a bearded dragon on their shoulder. Just, I mean, it was absolutely wild. And literally one of the best times I've ever had. I was just so honored as a white woman to be invited to the black person cookout. So, if you're black and you want more white friends, I'm really cool, and I'll come to the cookout. Love you, bye.
People need to stop bringing black people into quite literally any conversation about race. I made a video talking about how I feel unsafe around white men, and the first comment is, well, what about black men? Number one, I was not talking about black men in this video whatsoever. What is your fucking obsession talking about black men specifically? And you know the person who commented this is white. It is a constant and chronic obsession with what black men are doing 24/7. And number two, when I'm talking about my experiences with white men, my negative experiences, please stop bringing up other races. Because yes, while other races can commit crimes or do other things, my own personal experiences have been white men who have assaulted me or have made me feel unsafe time and time again. Are there exceptions to this? Yes, but 90% of my negative interactions have been this. Also, commenting this feels like it is still rooted in the implicit assumption that black people commit more crimes, or bringing up black people is trying to promote some sort of racist narrative. Again, stop bringing black people into every single conversation. If we're going to talk about race, then we need to talk about the problem of white supremacy, which is what my page does. Go bother somebody else, and please stop trying this bullshit on my page, because I'm going to continue to block you. I'm here to call out other white people. So if you want to be racist, go do that somewhere else.
Yo, do black people ever be like, yo, I want to be friends with like a white guy? Because that's like different and cool, you know? Do they do that? Do they think like that? Because as a white person, I'd be thinking like, I'm mainly friends with white people, and it's just like, you know, it would be so cool to have like a brother best friend, you know, right?
Black people don't think about white people at all. And why this is so confusing for white people is that in order to be racist, you have to be obsessed with the thought of somebody being black in order to wake up every day and hate us and hate our existence and try to oppress blackness. It is not a part of our culture to think about white people, to want to aspire towards assimilation to whiteness, to emulate any parts of white culture, or just think about anything y'all got going on. We have way too much going on in our lives, surviving and existing amongst each other and in this country that has been trying to oppress us and subjugate us since inception of us here, than to be thinking about what y'all got going on. And as someone who went to a lot of white schools growing up, and I do have a lot of white friends, I can guarantee you, my parents didn't put me in a situation to go to the schools I was in that probably wouldn't have white friends, because we don't think about partnering up with y'all in the same way that you want us to think you're cool. It's like white people want black people to think, oh yeah, you guys are cool. Like, it's weird. It's just like the Young Republican group chat where they were talking about black people, about raping us and killing us and lynching us. It's like every signal chat. Like the girl recently saying, I can't wait to bring back segregated schools so we can get the real stuff going on. Black people are not sitting around thinking about ways to get rid of white people. We are just trying to live and survive and be in community with each other. You guys need to focus more on yourselves and be in community with each other. That's the problem. Y'all are so individualistic that y'all are going fucking crazy because y'all don't have a community. I've never once in my life said, I think I really may want a white friend. What are you talking about? I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, little bro. I'm sorry you think we're cool and you want a black brother, you want a black friend. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Don't fetishize us. And that's the problem. Like, the obsession borders fetishization, which borders like mania, which then internally makes y'all feel crazy, and then it comes out as racism. Listen, it's a lot to unpack there with your video, but to answer your question, nah, bruh. We do not think about you ever at all. And when we do, it's only when y'all do some really fucked up weird shit online or in person and we have to respond to it. Other than that,
the reason white people were completely against interracial marriage and also specifically baby making is because the baby making debunked the whole foundation of their racism against black people. The argument was that these black people weren't human, they weren't even subhuman, they were animals meant to be treated as such. That's why their teeth were reused, their hair were reused, like literally they were treated not just as working cattle to perform labor, but also that's why they were eaten. And as disgusting as that is to think about, that is why when white people and black people started having intercourse, forcibly or not forcibly, the fact that a baby came from that proved that these black people who were being painted to be animals and oh, they're savages, they were just as human as us. You cannot procreate with a pig. You cannot procreate with a dog. You cannot take a dog and a cat and make them come together. Nature, which is above our human egoic laws, nature says that's not gonna work. These two things are not the same. But when two things come together and do that and can make a baby, that shows you that they are one of the same. That is why they being racist white people, were so against interracial marriage, specifically baby making, because it debunked the whole racist ideology that they were building.
Every time a black or brown person gets on the internet and says, hey guys, do you remember how tanning, lip fillers, BBLs, etc. were made to make white people look like they're a little less white? And then all of the white people who do those things will go, no, it's not all about you. I don't want to look like you. I just want to look more attractive. You look more attractive because you look less white. And no, I'm not saying that white people are uglier, but I know that a lot of you are going to probably twist it that way if you watch this far, because you people can't fucking think. But no matter what way you think about it or not, the fact that lip fillers exist is undeniably to make people look more ethnic. Of course it's true that white people can be born with big lips, but the kind of lip fillers that we're seeing pop out today, hardly anybody goes about it in a natural way. Of course you see those white people that go from something like that to something like what I have. I would say that I have small to average lips for a white person. But now white people are going beyond that, and they are just making themselves look like crazy people. And that is not... You are not fooling me, Emily. And again, the fuller figure, I'm not saying that you cannot get plastic surgery for other reasons, but deep down at its core, the reason that you want plastic surgery is because you want to fit into beauty standards. And those beauty standards are Eurocentric and made up by men. White men set up those beauty standards that you unwillingly follow. Maybe it is willing. Maybe you're like, men will want me more if I look like this, and that's okay, so I'll do it. Either way, it's really sad, but, you know, you have more money than me, clearly, so why do I get to pick what you spend it on? Because once upon a time, when white men realized, oh, we're supposed to be racist, I forgot. They had to keep their hidden ethnic escapades secret, even though they were very much, and are still, attracted to black and brown women. So they started trying to find ways to make their white women look like that. And that's why now you have white women chasing that dream of, you know, looking, you know, sun-kissed, having big luscious lips, having an ass. All of that shit that they naturally were not born with. And you can swear up and down that it's not inspired by black or brown people. You can swear up and down that it has nothing to do with that. You can say, oh, I hate them. I don't want to look like them. Because when you go back to the very beginning, who's going to be on that inspiration board? A black woman. Whose lips are you going to be using as a reference to show to your doctor? A black woman's. It's just an extra slap in the fucking face when you're extra racist on top of trying to be a copycat. A half-baked copy. That sticky-ass spray tan sticking to your fingers, melanoma spots all over your shoulders, babe. And the filler that looks like it's about to fly off of your face if you say your syllables too hard.